Okay, the third way that you can give students multiple opportunities to complete homework and assignments in D2L is to create a randomized test. Okay, so what that means is, say for example, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and create one, so that you have a good sense of what I mean. So if you look at so this is a list of a whole bunch of questions, or a whole bunch of quizzes that I've made in D2L. So each time I make a quiz, I add my questions to my question library. Okay, so that you'll see that over time I have accumulated quite a few questions. I think in here I have 63 questions that I've done. Okay, so say you wanted to give students an overview of a polynomials unit. So you'll see here I have quite a few questions on polynomials. One of the things that I have learned just through practice is that it's a good habit to get into naming your questions from the beginning, because otherwise, once you start accumulating so many, it gets very confusing to know what type of questions that you have in your question library. So a little tip I'll just show you right here is that when I am creating a question, and for the polynomials unit, all I do is I add polynomials colon to the beginning of the question, and that keeps things fairly organized in my question library. So when I'm scrolling through, I have a good sense of which type of question, or where the questions belong for each unit. Okay, so let's go ahead and create in the quizzes. I'm going to create a new quiz. Okay, so let's call it random. Okay, let's call it randomized quiz. For actually, I'm going to call it polynomials 2, and I'm going to signify it -r for random. Okay, and so I'm going to call it polynomials 2 because I actually already created a randomized test for polynomials, but I just want to show you how I would do it so that you have a good sense of how to do it yourself. So I always Control C. I always create a grade item to match. Okay, to match this way, their marks get automatically updated. And so let's say I want to just choose. I'll choose it out of 10, just to make it easy. Okay, so I'm going to automatically export to grades and allow attempt to be graded immediately upon completion. This is how you give students immediate feedback. And I'm going to allow hints, okay? Because some of my questions I have hints built into the question, so they can use those to complete their answers. Okay, so I would save and close. So now, if I enter into my polynomials 2R, okay, one of the things is when I'm in my layout questions, what I can do here in add edit questions, I can create a new random section. Okay, so I'm going to call this the same as the test. Okay, my random section for polynomials 2, and I can save and close. Okay, so now I've created a random section within this quiz, and if I head into this random section, I can click import, and I'm going to import from a collection root. Okay, and you'll see here it lists all the questions in my question library. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the polynomial questions. Take a little bit of time here. I mean, this is why it's very important to properly name and identify your questions. So when you're doing these types of random section quizzes, you can identify which polynomials. I think for the sake of this, you'll see that I've selected a bunch of questions. Okay, this is good enough for this example. We'll save. Okay. Now, questions per attempt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, I want to choose 10 questions per attempt, and they're each worth 1 point. So you'll see I've selected 22 questions, and so from those 22 questions, I'm going to select 10 questions for each attempt, and that's it. Okay. So now, whenever a student completes this quiz, 10 questions are going to be chosen from this bank of 22 questions, and so essentially, if they try to complete this quiz multiple times, they will be given a different set of 10 questions each time, right? So the bigger the questions in your bank, right, the less chance that a student will be repeating the same question again. Okay, and so one of the benefits of doing this is that you can actually show the students the answer to these questions in your submission views right here. Okay, so I can show them the default view here. I can say yes, I want to show my answers. Okay, and so I can show them the answers because I know that each time they do this, they're going to be given a kind of a different set of questions. Okay, so they're getting immediate feedback, they're getting their answers, and the beauty of it is that it's marked automatically, and their grade item gets updated instantaneously. Okay, and so I mean, if students, one of the things that really drives students is marks, and so for them to get feedback immediately and see how it affects their grade immediately, it really motivates them to try and try again. Okay, and by giving a student multiple opportunities by attempts. Okay, so in attempts, I could say, well, let's give the student 5 times to attempt this quiz, and I tell them I'm going to keep their highest attempt each time. So even if they do this 5 times and the highest attempt was on their first try, I'm going to keep their highest mark. Okay, so it gives them incentive to try and try again without the fear of getting a lower mark for trying it more times. Okay, so the more and more I learn about the types of questions in the quizzing functionality of D2L, the more I realize the possibilities for giving students more opportunities to complete questions in math is endless. Okay, so as I learn more, I'll definitely share what I know with everyone, so that that you can try it in your classes too. Okay, thank you.